This is Ryan Abraham for USCFootball.com. Instant analysis along with Dan Weber. Yes, I'm not Keely Eure, but we gave her the day off. It was her birthday. She's going to Angels opening day, so I'm taking over. So sorry, all you Keely fans out there on YouTube. I'm going to be doing this instant analysis. But spring practice number 11, it was a full pads affair. Dan, I thought it was a pretty physical practice. There was limited special teams rep. There was actually some tackling to the ground in some of the on the 11-on-11 periods. And even the special teams period, I saw there were some physical natures to that. So it seemed like a pretty good practice to me.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. I mean, I think they're building, day after day, getting more confident. I think the defense, you're seeing a more confident defense that kind of just ignored the fact that they may not have a lot of great depth in the secondary, and they're getting play from kids like Dominic Davis. All of us, he's just like, it doesn't look like the Dominic Davis we've seen, and he talks about how that light bulb just went on for a lot of kids, and he's getting the opportunity with the new coaching staff. You got walk-ons like Jordan McMillan. Got a lot of guys that are kind of stepping up, so I think they're a really good competition out there. And I think, more than anything, if both sides, really bring it, and they do, kind of a game like, scrimmage when everything they do, they've got officials, they use the clock, they use the sidelines, they use the hash marks, they use all of that. They don't go for a long period, but they go really hard. This was I always thought the secret of Pete. They competed really hard for the time they competed and for the time they did it. And we saw some of that today.
Yeah, this obviously getting ready for the USC Spring Showcase on Saturday. We talked off camera. It seems like this is sort of like what you're going to see, right? Because it was maybe limited special teams. You're going to see a lot of, something in full pads and some competitive periods. They're going to have that 1 hour on the Pac-12 network. So I think I want to try to do as much as possible during that 1 hour.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the kind of thing that they do every day when they do specialty passing. Not only going to see one-on-one and some deep stuff, you're going to see goal line passing. You're going to see red zone passing. I don't know if they'll go 7-on-7 or not. But then, you'll also see them when they go 11-on-11, you'll see them really work on the red zone.
Yeah.
And they were really shaky in the red zone. They were, barely in the top 90 in red zone last year. And I think just working on it every day, there's a lot of good stuff happening just the way they're practicing. I mean, we were the biggest critics, I think, in practice last year. And I think it's whatever the criticism was or whether it mattered or not, they're getting it right now. I think, they're doing what they have to do at practice. I think they're doing it well.
Yeah, defensive players I got to talk to today. You already mentioned Dominic Davis. I got to talk to Greg Burns for a little while, getting the kind of rundown. You look in that secondary, Dan, there's just not a lot of healthy bodies. We did learn that Britton Allen is going to move back to play his natural position, safety there. But you're looking around for scholarship players on the first team, and there's not a lot of guys there.
And yet they've done a pretty good job of getting those yellow shirt guys, Isaiah Polamalu and Greg Johnson, into the action. They don't, even if they're tackling, they don't tackle the ground, or they bring them off, on the plays where they're tackling. But they're still competing, and there are a lot of, and it may come to bite you, with Talanoa Hufanga, but they haven't backed off anywhere and said, oh, we can't do this because they just, they've just gone ahead in the same way we were talking to, Graham Harrell Tuesday. They've only got 7 wide receivers instead of, 14 and up. And he said, you adjust. You don't go 4 wide as much in practice. That'll happen in the fall. But I think they've handled kind of the limitations pretty well this spring. Again, it's something they didn't do really well last spring.
Yeah, we got to watch another position group that's not very deep, the running backs in some pass protection drills. That was also, I thought, a very physical period. I think I thought the running backs did well at first, and then the defensive backs and the linebackers kind of took over. And Paulier Noleteote, it just seemed like he was unblockable.
Yeah, he's it's obvious that's a downhill drill for those guys. They get a running start, and the running backs just basically got to get into position. It's usually a play fake or whatever, but they're never going to be in the same position. And Palier, he's down to 244. He actually got as high as 259 last year, and so he's much quicker, just as stronger. But yeah, he can shed you if you don't. I mean, Marquis Step I think has improved a lot. I think Malapai, he can kind of stand you off, and he kind of knows the angles and all that. It's a work in progress for Stephen Carr. But then, in the scrimmage, we saw him hit Stephen out of the backfield, and he's going down the sideline. And then you see, okay, that's why you have, Stephen Carr in there. But they're working at it. That was the third time they've done that drill, and I'm glad they keep bringing it back. And I think it's a good drill for both sides. And you don't take a lot of time doing it, but I think it really, especially when they're in full pads, I think it's a really just a great drill for this team right now.
For fans at home, if you're going to watch on Pac-12 Network Saturday, 11 a.m. for the spring showcase, one of the things you notice, Dan, when you're out here watching practice is they do utilize, as far as the offense goes, the entire field. And it seems like you have a play, like there was a little dump off to Stephen Carr that went for a big play to the left, and then you run like some kind of little draw or counter to the right. And it just seems like you're always putting a defense on its heels. And every once in a while, you break it down where an entire side of the defense is gone just because they went the wrong way, and the play just works perfectly. It seems like the scheme is so much better just watching it.
Yeah, or they'll have, they'll line up two backs, and they'll put one of them in motion one way, and then they'll come back the other way with the, with the remaining back. I really like the offense, and I don't know that, a team with the talent USC's got has gotten to run this whole offense. I mean, I think you could say Oklahoma does sort of some of it a little bit, and they've got obviously great players. But I think it's going to be fun to see where can Graham Harrell take this, and I think he's trying to figure out what to do when you've got athletes this good and this many of them. How does it go? How does it work? And I think that'll be something really that'll be fun to watch. But the offense, you pretty much have to defend the whole field. Yeah. I mean, they're not giving you a pass as far as. And last year there were times where clearly USC was right-handed, or clearly they weren't going to be able to do this or do that. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. We see deeper, and they haven't done the shot plays where they really throw it down the field big time. I mean, they get those plays, but they're out of the offense. Once they add some of those where they look at the other team, they look at the defense and say, here's a shot that we can take. I'm going to be interested to see how that works when they start putting in certain deep balls for certain guys in certain situations. That's going to be fun to see also. We haven't seen that yet.
No, I haven't seen much of that. Quarterback-wise, they all kind of got reps today. I thought J.T. Daniels looked good. It didn't seem like there wasn't any enormous plays. It didn't seem like anyone really stood out to me. I don't know, to you.
Well, I think when they went to the red zone, they started at 25. It took 4 passes to get them to the 3, and then it took 3 more plays to get them in. So J.T. was 5 for 5 and got him in. But they made it a little tough on him, the defense, against the run. I mean, that's a big emphasis with this defense. And so, they got a couple of yards and 2 runs, and then they had to throw the ball to Kromenhoek. But I like the efficiency of J.T. able to go, 5 for 5 in the red zone. I thought that. And with the first offensive line and him getting the ball out quickly to Pittman, Vaughns, and Amon-Ra, he can be pretty efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that offense, you look at it and you say, they're going to be a challenge because you've got all 3 of those guys. Devin Williams still a little under the weather, it looked like today. He was out there, but and then they're not, Josh Fallow and Jude Wolfe, the 2 big tight ends, are not there. And when you've got those 5 or 6 guys, including one of the running backs, to throw it to, that may be more people that you can distribute the ball to than they can really defend really well. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have maybe a linebacker trying to run with Stephen Carr down the sideline. That's probably the kind of mismatch you're looking for.
Yeah, you want those kind of mismatches. You mentioned Devin Williams. He wasn't in practice Tuesday, was out there today, just in like a sweatshirt and tossing the ball around a little bit. I didn't see Austin Jackson. Yeah, Austin Jackson wasn't around, so they had Jalen McKenzie playing left tackle, and then Liam Jimmons, newly moved over to the offensive line, was basically the starting right tackle. I think Giuliano Falanico ended up taking his pads off. He didn't finish practice, but it's kind of the same. We don't get an injury update on Thursdays from Clay Helton, but it seemed like about the same as Tuesday.
Yeah, as far as the injury update, yeah, about the same numbers and that. But it was good to see that they felt like Liam is to the point where he can go with the first group at that right tackle. And good to see that Jalen, they feel like, can move from right tackle to left tackle. I think you look at Liam and you say, he's got a body that looks like he could play. I mean, he just keeps getting bigger and stronger. He looks like an offensive lineman. I've been real impressed with Jalen, McKenzie, and so we'll see. But not a lot of depth there. You hope you've got like a guy like Liam is pushing the two tackles. That's what you want to see, where you've got that kind of competition, which I think really benefits everybody.
All right, well, since Keely does this every time, Dan, any final thoughts after spring practice number 11?
I guess one final thought, or more of a question, had the Angels scored yet? I don't know when
they lost their last 4. I think they won the first maybe, and they lost the last 4, so hopefully, Keely, they're getting a win for you.
Yeah, I know. We're kind of, trying to console Keely and say, it's just the first week, and, maybe the season's over before they get home, but, you just got to, and she said, oh, it's a tradition. I said, it is a bad deal if you go on the road for the first week and basically people say, well, I think the season might be over and we haven't, been home yet. But good luck to our Angels for those of us from Orange County. They might need it.
They might need it, yeah. Well, Keely will be back on Saturday. I'll be back too with Dan Weber, Shaka, and Chris. We'll all be out there. Swim with Mike also is going to take part. So the football players will be doing their thing right after the spring showcase. So if you want to come to Cromwell Field and check it out and see the spring showcase, you can go over to the swim stadium and see what the football players do. The Song Girls are always out there. It's always a great event. So make sure you check it out. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Dan Weber, I'm Ryan Abraham. Make sure you check out uscfootball.com for more.